Hey, what is up guys? Phil coming at you with the post-War of the Spark update for my Nicol Bolas Commander deck. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. So we're only going to gloss over the older cards that are in the deck, and we're going to try and highlight the newer cards. Sorry again for my voice in this video. I am still a bit sick, so you will have to bear with me. So hopefully you guys do enjoy the new additions to the deck. If you have any other suggestions that could be added, please let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see the history of the deck, and some of the cards that we're going to gloss over in more detail, please feel free to check out older versions of the video. So without any further ado guys, let's jump in and we're going to take a quick squiz back at our commander. So he's a 4-drop, 4/4 flying legendary Elder Dragon. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent must discard a card. At sorcery speed, you can pay 4 mana and 1 of each Grixis to flip him into Nicol Bolas the Arisen. So quickly go over Arisen's abilities. He comes in with 7 loyalty. His +2 is to draw 2 cards. His -3 is to deal 10 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Sadly, you can't do it to player because I feel like that would be pretty powerful. -4, put a target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, which is absolutely amazing. And -12, exile all but one card of target player's library. It surprisingly does go off. Not as much as you'd like, but it does happen. Continuing on with the rest of the planeswalkers and the rest of the Bolases, or the Bolai as they were, we have Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. So we have the new alternate artwork. When you have the alternate artwork came from the Ajani dual deck. Kind of like playing this one because he's more humanoid in this one, less dragony, which does fit in more with the other artworks of the other Bolases. But at the end of the day, it's personally up to you. You can check out his abilities in the other versions of the profile. We have Deceiver, of course. Deceiver, probably one of the weakest Bolas Planeswalkers in my opinion, but he is searched because he's from like an intro deck, but he is searchable from a specific artifact, so he definitely does have his uses. We got Godpharaoh, amazing card. People hate this card, so run it, because it's pretty much your whole deck is basically revolved around getting that out and protecting it and bringing it back as much as possible. And then of course we do have Nicol Bolas Dragon God is our newest Planeswalker, replacing Ugin. So he's a 5 CMC Bolas Planeswalker with 4 loyalty. For 1 blue, 3 black, and 1 red. His continuous ability, which all new Planeswalkers do have a new continuous ability, but his unique one is he gets to use the abilities, the loyalty abilities specifically of all other Planeswalkers on the field. So he doesn't get their continuous abilities, which make him absolutely ridiculous. +1, you draw a card, and then each opponent must exile a card from their hand or exile a permanent. -3 to destroy target creature or planeswalker, kind of meh compared to his continuous first and third ability. And his ulti is -8, each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game. So very powerful. You can just kill people straight out of the game. You can completely focus them down, then ulti him, and then take them out completely. And then of course, last Bolas we still play him, the OG Bolas. Is relevant occasionally, mostly in there for flavor. Moving on to creatures, we only have 2 new creatures. We have the new artwork for Arga of Bolas, with a new quote, so really cool there. I like this artwork a lot better, as it does have some more physical ties visually to Bolas. And we play the new Neheb, so he's a 4-drop 5/4 with trample, which alone is pretty good in my opinion. His ability, of course, is when he deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you may discard any number of cards, and if you do, draw that many, and you add that much red. Till the end of the turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Obviously, not amazing in terms of this deck, doesn't really require red too much, but it's Bolas' general, and you can use that red to help you cast your colors, you know, your mana rocks, help you cast Omniscience, help you cast Apex of Power if you want. So definitely some nice things going on with that card, as well as filtering your hand. The rest of the creatures, 2-drop wise, we only have 3 other 2-drops in the deck. Baleful, Strix, Nightscape Familiar, and Wasp of the Bitter End. All pretty straightforward for Bolas. 3-drops, we have Eternal of Harsh Truths and Nightveil Spectre. Of course, Eternal of Harsh Truths has Afflict, and if it attacks and it's not blocked, you draw a card. Afflict, of course, it's Afflict. He is Afflict 2, I believe. He is Afflict 2, so he deals 2 damage. Nice. We have our mana ramp, well, our creature ramp. We have Storm to Mulacrum and Burnished Heart. We have, of course, cards that steal from our opponent. So we've got Gonti, Lord of Luxury, and the Shaman. We've got the Japanese one now, which is really cool. Of course, Gonti can take some funny situations with Gonti. Last time I played this deck, I got a Ulamog, so that was pretty funny. Other than that, we have Disciple of Bolas. It's a sack a creature, draw cards, which is cool. Locust God, because whenever you draw, you make an insect. and he can draw the insect. And of course, Neheb, Bolas' General, which is always a nice card to run in your Bolas deck. Moving on to the artifacts, guys. Only one new artifact, and that is Bolas Citadel. It's a 6 mana legendary artifact for 3 colorless and 3 black. You may look at the top card of your library whenever you want. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you must pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its normal mana cost. And you can tap and sack 10 long-burn permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So amazing card to always check the top card of your deck. It is a problem in terms of your life capabilities. I mean, you have 40 life, but a lot of the cards in this deck are quite high cost. So you got to be careful. But it's high risk, high reward kind of card as well. And you can always check the top, so you can always decide, which is always really cool. Other than that, Bolas themed artifacts that we do still play in the deck, of course, Gem of Becoming and Visage of Bolas. Visage of Bolas, mana rock that grabs you Deceiver from your hand, from your deck or grave, and it's cast. And then of course we've got Greaves to protect and give haste. Other than that, we have the usual mana rocks you expect to see in a commander deck, like the very basic ones. You've got the Soul Ring and your Signets, of course Rakdos, Izzet, and Dimir. We've got Commander Sphere, and then finally we have Chromatic Lantern. So, of course, you can play Skull Clamp if you want for your insect tokens that you make with Locust God, but at the end of the day, that's completely up to you. Sorceries. One brand new sorcery. I was thinking of adding the finales into the deck, but I'm still testing them. So, for starters, we have Deliver Unto Evil. So, it is a 3-cost sorcery. So, you choose up to 4 target cards in your graveyard. A target player picks 2 of them. Those 2 stay in the bin, and you get the other 2 unless you control a Bolas Planeswalker, where you get all the cards, and then you exile it at the end of that ability. So, very, very nice. Draws. We do play Deep Analysis, Windfall, Siphon Mind, and Divination. Of course, our version of Deep Analysis does feature Nicol Bolas, which is very, very cool. And if you're playing Deep Analysis, why wouldn't you play the Bolas one anyway, right? Tutoring, still keeping on the budget-ish or mid-tier value-wise. Diabolic Tutor and Mastermind's Acquisition. Again, depending on how much money you want to spend on the deck, you got Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, all those cards as well. Moving on to board wipes. Crux of Fate, sure, it kills dragons or non-dragons. You don't run too many dragons in this deck, but it is Ugin fighting Bolas and referencing Sarkhan. If this isn't like a Bolas-themed card, I don't know what is. And it's always nice, because my playgroup does have quite a few dragon players, so it's nice to have something to deal with them. We have the legendary Bolas board wipe, which is Hour of Devastation. Basically, removes Indestructible, deals 5 damage to everything that's not Bolas. We've got Ruinous Path for single target removal, Creature Planeswalker. Again, if you have Hero's Downfall, play Hero's Downfall. I don't have Hero's Downfall. And then we've got Fragile Dividends and Torment of Hailfire for game winners. So these 2 cards together are pretty nutty if you can get them off. So it's really cool. In terms of control, we have Slave of Bolas and Mass Manipulation to gain control of things. And we do have the new artwork, a new artwork for Slave of Bolas, the promo. DCI promo. I'm not exactly sure which promo it is. It was stored on an auction. Picked it up because it looked nice. Moving on to some key Bolas cards, of course. Dark Intermissions, Cruel Ultimatum, and Wit's End. All very, very evil and very, very heavy Bolas themed cards with some nice quotes there from Bolas on Wit's End. And the last sorcery is Apex of Power. So Apex of Power may end up being removed from the deck, but lore-wise, it is the time where I believe Bolas is at his most powerful. So I feel like, because this is a lore deck, I can't really take it out of the deck. Moving on to our enchantments. No new enchantments, so just the usual. In Bolas Clutches to steal things. We've got Eldritch Reborn, very powerful to do a bunch of different things, but all 3 of these cards' abilities are amazing. But the third ability is always the best. You get something back from anyone's bin. Patient Rebuilding, so of course... patent rebuilding, of course, force opponents to mill, and you draw for every land they mill, so you hit their lands, which is really cool. Waste Not, of course, you plus whenever they discard. You've got Elder Mastery, which shares the abilities of the original Bolas, kind of with another one of your creatures. Normally I give it to Neheb, because it's always fun. And then you've got Omniscience as well, very, very important. If you want to, go grab the Invocation, because the Invocation does have Bolas on it. If I had the money, I would get the Invocation, because it's got Bolas on it, as opposed to Jace. Moving on to instants, guys. There are 2 brand new instants in the deck. So there are 3 brand new instants in the deck. Starting off with our draw. So we have Commence the Endgame. So it's a 6 mana draw spell where you draw 2 cards and you amass X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. If you're not familiar with amass allows you to create an army token if you don't have one, and it gets +1/+1 for whatever you amass. And if you have the token, it just gets bigger. So again, it can't be countered, so it is nice considering you're putting a lot of mana into it. There are much better draw cards. However, it is the end game, and Nicol Bolas is finally ending things. So, lore-wise, why the hell not, right? Tyrant Scorn for removal. This card's a really nice removal. It is a 2-drop for Dimir. So you choose one, destroy target creature with good mana cost 3 or less, or you can return target creature with its owner's hand. So you can do whatever you want. You can hit big thing, you can bounce big things, or you can kill small things, or you can bounce small things and bounce big things. So, very, very nice. You've got No Escape, which is a new counter spell. So when you counter target creature or planeswalker, if you do, you exile it instead of putting it in its graveyard and scry one, which is very nice. Every other instant is in the deck is the same. So the remainder of our draw cards, we have Brainstorm and Fact or Fiction. Foff is always a nice fun card. We have, of course, removal in terms of Terminate, Magma Quake, and Chaos Warp. So all pretty strong removal. You do have to be careful with Magma Quake in this deck as it does hit your planeswalkers, so it will hit your Nicol Bolases, so you have to be very careful when you use this card. But if he's not on the field or you use him, you can hit planeswalkers with it, which is really cool. In terms of our remaining counters, we've got Soul Manipulation and Counter Scroll, which I'm still trying to find. Classic Nicol Bolas counters. Then, of course, we have our OG counter spell, Disallow, as well, to hit abilities. And then finally, in terms of searching for those really kind of disgusting sorceries and instants that we want to use, we can get Mystical Shooter as well, which is really nice. Moving on to the lands. Only one new land in the deck, and that is Khan's Bastion. So it is tap to add colors, or you can pay for and tap it to proliferate. Obviously, we're playing Planeswalkers, so you're definitely going to run it. There is a card that I definitely want to run in the deck, or that I recommend you could run in the deck. It's a 2 mana, I can't remember what it's called, but you draw a card, then you proliferate. So obviously, if you've got Planeswalkers on the field, you're going to get bigger. So definitely something you can add to the deck if you want some more draw power. It's not particularly super related to Bolas. It is from War, so at the end of the day, you can run it, and I might actually add it in a future version of the profile once I pull one. So Khan's Bastion, very, very nice. Moving on to the rest of our non-basics. Special lands, we have Command Tower, pretty straightforward. Forge of Heroes, a must for every Planeswalker commander deck. For us, this card is super powerful for us because it's when your commander comes into play, you tap it to give it +1/+1, or if it's a Planeswalker, it has extra loyalty. Our commander is a Planeswalker and a creature, so when you transform him, he does re-enter, so you can get use of both versions of Forge of Heroes, making Forge of Heroes very, very strong in this deck. You've also got Crumbling Necropolis, tap, land comes in for Grixis. Detection Tower to remove Hexproof, because we steal things. They may have Hexproof, so we can get rid of that. We've got Grixis Paranoma, as well as Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse to use to search. We've got Reliquary Tower to give ourselves a massive hand, as well as Bajuka Bog to exile annoying cards from annoying people's graveyards. Moving on to our duels. Again, when it comes to duels, like I've said in the previous versions of these videos, it's whatever dual lands I have. So, depending on how much money you want to spend on the deck, you can go put as amazing, expensive duels. But I think the majority of the value or the money cards in this deck would come from my land base. My land base isn't super expensive, but again, it's what I had. So starting things off, we have Watery Grave and Drowned Catacomb for our 2 Dimir. If I had the Scry Dimir land, I would blend that as well. Moving on to Izzet, we are playing, of course, Izzet Boilerworks. Now, I would take out Izzet Boilerworks for a different land if I had it. So hopefully I can get some more Izzet ones soon. We have Temple of Melody, Temple of Epiphany, which is the Scry one. We have Steam Vents, and of course, Spire Bluff Cannibal. I would actually take out Spire Bluff if I could. You want to see it earlier rather than later. Moving on to Rakdos, probably the worst duel in the deck, which is Cinder Barons. It's a generic tap land, but it does have a quote from Nicol Bolas, so I definitely feel like I have to run it. We have Blood Crypt, the Shock. We have a Chrome Refuge, which heals you when it comes to play tapped. And we have Luxury Suite. If I had all the Grixis Battle Bond lands, definitely run them, because they're actually amazing. Wherever you can, run these cards. Moving on to basics. We are playing 5 islands. As you can see, we are playing the Amoket and Hour of Devastation Bolas full arts. How could we not play these? We have 4 mountains in the deck. And then finally, we have 5 swamps. But anyway, guys, that is it for the profile. Hope you guys like the updates I've made. If you have any suggestions about what I could add below in the deck, let me know in the comments. As well as that, if you're keen for some more Magic content, we do have some War for the Spark openings up here on the channel. I do have some Japanese packs that I've opened up on the channel as well. I'll be doing a video very soon on the new Modern Slithers. Just every time I go to make the video, they add more, so I have to get more, and I'm scared they're just going to add more and more. But eventually I'll sit down and I'll do everyone they've revealed so far, so please do stay tuned for that one. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys for my next video. And remember, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We're so close to the 200 subs. I'd really appreciate it if I could get there. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.